I've got big dates and big money for XRP holders. We'll talk price action at the end. Happy Tuesday, everyone. 160 crypto influencers got paid to get you to think a certain something. We'll talk about that. Crypto for housing, yeah, and Christie's is getting involved. We'll talk that along with...
I say lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Yesterday was the first day that we were able to have the windows open all day because it wasn't hotter than balls outside. Yeah, it felt nice to have some fresh air. What's the weather like by you? Comment down below and let me know. Heat map? It's still not sexy, but it's the beginning of the month of September and we know the juice is happening at the end. And speaking of juice, XRP holders, I've got big dates for you along with some big money. Now, before we get into the crypto news, your comments come first because you, the viewer, matter most. Shane Wilkins dropping support on the channel. Thank you, Shane. Shane says, good morning, my brother, and I hope things pick up in a week or two. I keep on buying when I can. I guess it doesn't hurt to have more time to buy. That's a good optimistic way to look at it, but I gotta be honest with you. I think the first part of September is going to suck. I think the back half is going to be good, and I think the fourth quarter is going to be absolutely great. Outdoor Nature Show says, hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend. Are you doing a cookout? We did a small cookout with just our immediate family here. It was nice. You know, we did a little bit of grilling with the Miats and so forth. You know, had some fun. It was just nice and muted. Everyone's kind of doing their thing. The last video had the first 4 people within 17 seconds of each other. Yeah, that's how close the top viewers are. Speaking of top viewers, Titanium, yep, was the first one. Bitcoin, 109,160, ETH, 4292, XRP at 277, while BNB's at 843, Sol at under 200, while Doge is clinging on to 20 cents, ADA clinging on to that 80-cent mark, while the rest of the market is what? Waiting for some good news. MicroStrategy bought some more. Of course they did. They bought another approximately $500 million worth of BTC, about 7,700 BTC they bought in the month of August. Yeah, they're buying. They believe. BTC from MicroStrategy. Like what I did right there. All right, let's move on. Let's get into Christie's because we know Sailor buys, all right? Christie's becomes the first U.S. real estate company to launch a crypto division because cryptocurrency is here to stay. Now, I'm highlighting this story because Christie's is they're very traditional. They're very like old school. When you think of like Christie's, you think of like very like old money, old auction house, like you don't think of like a younger clientele, but listen to what they're saying. This is telling you that crypto is definitely different and that it's here to stay. Crypto investors are from every demographic, he said, projecting that within 5 years, 1/3 of all U.S. home sales could involve cryptocurrency. He's already in talks with major banks about enabling digital currency payments for finance properties. National surveys suggest crypto use is growing, though still a niche. A Gallup poll in July found that 14% of adult Americans own crypto, but most view it as risky. That's why risky assets are having problems right now, while gold and silver are doing so well. Just 4% said they're likely to buy in the near future. Similarly, a National Association of Realtors showed that only 1% of buyers between July 23 and June 2024 used crypto proceeds for a down payment. Yeah, but I bet you 5 years ago, 0% of people used crypto as a down payment. And now that the United States government gave us the nod to use crypto officially, you're going to see that grow even more. Housing costs have dramatically increased. One way to combat this is for people to use crypto, whether liquidated or as collateral to finance purchases. Crypto prices fluctuate rapidly. There's a risk that values drop after an offer is made, meaning a seller might not get paid. But you can make that happen with what? With stables and liquidating those assets and making the transaction happen fast, which means what? Using cryptos, yep, that move quickly. We know who those are. Either way, this is a good start because Christie's getting involved means what? Traditional finance, especially in the home buying atmosphere, is what? Warming up to crypto. Now a naughty story for you. Good, bad, happy, sad, and naughty. 160 crypto influencers exposed for undisclosed paid ads. Okay, we know that a whole bunch of crypto influencers, whether they're on Twitter, whether they're on YouTube, or whatever social media platform, They're paid to talk good about companies. A lot of people out there, they don't believe in crypto X, Y, or Z because they believe in it. No, they believe in it because they're getting paid. And there's nothing wrong with that. The difference is you have to disclose that you're getting paid to feel that way, right? You have to disclose that action. ZachXBT dropped another massive leak on September 1st, exposing hundreds of crypto influencers. Namely, a price sheet posted on X reveals the wallet addresses and promotional rates of over 200 figures in the market who recently were approached by a project they were meant to promote. However, Zach's analysis shows that while some 160 accounts accepted the deal, fewer than 5 actually disclosed their posts as paid advertisements. So think about that. 160 accounts actually went ahead with the paid promotion, and of those 160, 5 disclosed it as them being paid to bring up that advertisement. Do you know how illegal that is? That is extremely illegal. Now, I don't take sponsorships on this channel. Well, I'll put it this way. I would take sponsorships, but not from crypto. If I were to take crypto sponsorships, I'm not. But if you do take crypto sponsorships, you have to disclose it. It is the law. And for real, being a crypto channel, if I were to sit here and I were to be like, look, Ripple's paying me to say all this nice stuff about him, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Klaus is being nice in regards to Ripple, being nice in regards to BTC, because people are paying him to say that. But if I'm just saying it because it's something that I believe, because it's the news, well, then that's just the news, right? I'm not getting paid to say that. But think about it, only 5 out of 160. Now, here's the thing. I've got the list from ZachXBT up on the screen. Go through this list and let me know if any of these people on here are any influencers that you follow, because there's 160 of them. Some people were paid $60,000 for one post. Some people were paid as little as $2,500 for one post. Either way, everything you're seeing in this video and all the other videos, it's all linked down where everyone in the description below. But yeah, it's pretty disgusting. And that's how these crypto projects work. They go and they get a whole bunch of influencers all around the same time to say something nice about them, and everyone's like, oh, wait a minute, Picoin, this and that. It's exactly what happens. Influencers shill something, people think there's something really serious, really good happening in the market. The reality is, nope, people are getting paid to say something nice. Yeah, pathetic. XRP could receive US spot ETF approval in October, potentially drawing billions in the first month. They're saying an 87% chance that we're going to get XRP spot ETFs in October. Spot XRP ETF approval is widely expected during the SEC's October review window. The deadlines are from October 18th to the 24th. Keep that in mind, 18th to the 24th. Market observers put approval odds high, predicting markets are near 87%. Nature Assey, head of the ETF store, called approval essentially inevitable and forecasted the first month of inflows to be about $5 billion. We already talked about Canary Capital saying a whole bunch of money is going to flow in and even be bigger than BTC and ETH for those ETFs. The SEC's October window set sequential deadlines. Grayscale on the 18th, 21 shares in Bitwise midweek, CoinShares and Canary Capital on a double shot, and Wisdom Tree on the 24th. So you have a whole bunch of action going on. Now, here's a stat that's going to blow your mind. And if you're still watching the video right now, you are a legend, and this is why you watch, for juicy stats like this. Nutso. U.S. filings show 92 crypto funds are awaiting approval from the SEC. 92 ETFs. So, what's the difference between Gensler and Atkins SEC regimes? They're just different names, but they both just keep delaying. Overall, in the crypto market right now, things are looking, well, they're looking okay. Altcoin season index, 51 out of 100. Fear and greed, we're kind of in the fear zone right now at 39 out of 100. That's the lowest we've seen this in a while. In terms of crypto juicy action, well, baby, look it. It's a mix of red and green on the screen, but things are a little bit softer. Volume right now is 163 billion over the last 24 hours, up 10%. We did have a little bit of a dipperoni yesterday, nothing too crazy in terms of volume, but it's starting to pick back up. XRP's volume right now at 6.3 billion. Price action for XRP over the last month shows us what? A little bit of a decline, and we've had a bit of softness here. Sub $3 softness since the 28th of August. I think a lot of players out there are expecting Jerome Powell to pause and for us not to get rate cuts in September. But now, wait a minute. If we're not going to get rate cuts and we're not going to get regs in September, that means what? That's going to get pushed into October. But whoa. What did I just talk about earlier in this video? Yeah. The big window of ETF filings, which are expected in mid-October. So now you're going, whoa. Now you're telling me we might get ETFs, regs, and rate cuts all in the month of October? That would be freaking awesome, but it would do what, everyone? Leave potentially the month of September as another vacuum month where we could have what? More soft price action. Which, yes, as you stated in the beginning, it gives you more time to buy, right? That's what Shane Wilkins says. I guess it doesn't hurt. I have more time to buy. So you could look at this optimistically saying, hey, look, we've got another month and a half to buy. Or are they going to surprise us and give us some juicy news this month? I will let you know. Keep your ears open, and we'll do some live streams covering the news that happens later this month. But right now with XRP, what's the big story? Discount aisle 5, baby. Why? Because the market doesn't expect Jerome Powell to cut. They don't expect Congress to pass regs, and ETFs are slated for October. And remember, influencers only tell you stuff because they get paid, not because they believe. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, here's a list of 160 influencers that were paid to tweet some shit. Yeah, it's all linked down below. Dude, you gotta disclose if you're getting paid to advertise stuff. Otherwise, you're just a fake-ass scumbag liar like the rest of them. And that's exactly what Zach XBT right now is exposing. The fact that you got 160 people out there and only 5 of them exposed it as a paid advertisement. That's pathetic. And the thing is, this happens with tons of crypto projects out there. How many of them have been flashes in the pan? Pi Network, flash in the pan, right? ZBCN, flash in the pan. A whole bunch of them out there, right? And you know what it is. Out of nowhere, every freaking influencer, whether it's Twitter or YouTube, starts talking about one crypto, and it's out of nowhere, and people are like, whoa, I'm hearing it all over the socials. I got to get in on this. And then, the FOMO starts kicking in and all that kind of stuff. And you start thinking, dude, these influencers know what's up. No, they don't. They're getting paid. They're getting paid to get you to think a certain way. That's why I don't take crypto sponsorships in this channel. That's why every day my Gmail box is filled with offers, and I keep saying no because I don't want to have a bias here. I want to be able to bring you the news, good, bad, happy, or sad. I want to be able to talk shit about companies. I want to be able to praise companies. I want to be able to praise people and talk shit about people. Why? Because some people make good decisions, some people make bad decisions, and I want to share that with you so that you can make the best decisions. Now, in terms of price action, look, if September sucks, I'm going to take the optimistic road here and say, hey, all right, cool. That just gives us more time to buy. All right, but then what? Well, then you look at juicy October. But then if we don't get in October, then what? Well, then you look at juicy November. We're not getting rid of regs. We're not getting rid of rate cuts, and we're not getting rid of ETFs. Sooner or later, we have to deal with those 3 things. And you know what? When those 3 things hit the market is going to roar. So kick the can all you want, because guess what? We're not killing the can. We're just pushing it down the road. Yeah, and I'm not getting paid to say that. So choo-choo what? Choo-choo lying scumbag influencers that don't disclose that they get paid to advertise. That's absolutely disgusting. Oh, and choo-choo bitches.